So we heard that the ministry is prepared to allow the on-site learning at the schools across the country starting February 1st.
Yes, we hope that by February 1st, the 28 cities that have been restricted from operation at school would be allowed to open fully because of the situation with the pandemic has been under control to the level that we are comfortable with the safety measures at schools. We are in the final stage of making the preparation to make the announcement, and hopefully we can make the announcement tomorrow, so the school will have a week to prepare in terms of school cleaning, safety measures according to the health ministry.
So why have you chosen this date? Because many people are concerned that the COVID-19 situation is not really good yet. So why this date?
I think at the moment, the numbers of 150 to 200 or even less than 100 per day, depending on the day, we are able to trace the timeline of the people who have the COVID-19, and it's within certain group of people who have COVID-19. So we are pretty confident that it won't affect the school situation. The 28 cities, maybe Samut Sakhon would be one city that would still be restricted just because of the widespread of the pandemic still under concern. So we are waiting for the final approval from the committee to allow the opening. But in formal basis, we have discussed with them on the safety measures and then the risk of having the spread in the school, and they feel that the situation are under control.
So what would be the probability between reopening on February the 1st, or they will change the date after that?
I think if the numbers have increased to the number over 500, 600 per day in widespread area, that would be our concern. But so far we are able to trace and understand the timeline. So give us overall confidence that we can manage the situation at school. The reason that we extend the closure of the school from the original 17th of January, because during the new year, people have gone out all over the country. I think 15 million people have traveled all over the country. And the 14 days is quite comfortable, but for safety measures, 28 days, which comes to February 1st, would be much more comfortable. And you have seen that after the 17th of January, the number has been stable or even decreased in some days. So it yields the result that we are satisfied.
Oh, there was one of the COVID-19 that I believe announcement that your ministry was talking about is allowing all the students to move out of class without examination. Is that the correct information I heard, and why do you think that would be a good idea?
Well, it's something that we're studying because many countries are making the announcement
right.
Because of the pandemic. It's very difficult to measure by standard tests, but we feel comfortable enough that teachers understand the ability of the students, and most of the time within the year group, we pass them to the next level anyway. So we just change from the standardized test.
Right.
That's a requirement. There's still a test, but within the year group. But we focus more on the teachers' understanding of the students' abilities.
So the WEF just published the global risk report, and it talk about a lot of things. One of that is about education, and it talk about the young adult, 15 to 24, have a chance to be a lost generation, and they talk about how pandemic widened the inequality gap of education, especially the poor people all around the world. I think that is probably one of the issues that the education ministry have to try to come up with something, because I think this pandemic also widened the gap in Thailand too. Has the ministry prepared any measures to deal with that?
Yes, we are concerned about the dropout rate, especially for girls, according to the World Bank report. We feel much more comfortable with data management on our end. We are different than some other countries because we have teachers who have gone to the houses of students throughout the country. So we are able to trace or understand the reason that they would not come back to school. So that would reduce the problem of dropout rates. The quality of education in terms of some combination of online and on-site teaching, that's a bit of our concern. We feel that on-site learning is still the best approach in terms of providing the proper education. But in some area, in some schools, online education actually has helped the students in terms of organizing their time and then getting more direct information that would satisfy their knowledge.
But for some schools, especially in rural areas, some of them don't even have the equipment to access to online learning. So what would be the best way to solve this issue?
Okay. The school on the outskirts of the city that do not have the equipment, digital equipment to support the online learning, we have provide exercise from the schools and then collect the exercise from time to time according to the schedule between the teachers and the students. And we have practiced that during the first wave of COVID near the end of last year. And we found that to be quite successful. And it doesn't replace the on-site learning, but it gives certain level of comfort that teachers can still have interaction with the students and get some result back. I'm certainly concerned that in the future we need to find ways for students, especially on the area that are underprivileged, to have some sort of access to technology in order to get more information from the teachers to the students. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some budgeting, which we have planned for the end of this year and the beginning of next year.
Last time we talked, we were talking about the lack of continuity of policy, the education ministry policy from one minister to another. And you were saying that you were trying to prepare something for anyone that take over next time will be able to continue what you started. So I understand that this year will be a year that education ministry has a lot of projects.
Yes.
What are you preparing to roll out, and what do you think will make the next minister able to continue your work?
The master planning of consolidating schools. We hope that number of schools, 30,000 schools, within the next 5 years will be reduced. But reducing in what numbers, we are in the process of organizing the plan, which will be completed in the next 3 months. In terms of the schools that will be changed, from schools into maybe lifelong learning schools for elderly.
Excuse me, reduce the number of schools?
Yes.
Why would we reduce the number of schools?
Because right now there are many smaller schools within 3 kilometers, 5 minutes distance. So we can combine them and create one quality schools with full functions of classroom, computer room, design technology room, music room, art room, sports field, indoor sports facility,
Right.
Teachers in all classes, teachers in all subjects. So we feel that if we prepare the quality schools according to the standard that should be, students from other smaller schools within the 10 minutes distance will be able to come and study at this what we will call magnet school.
Let's say you're having 3 schools and then you combine it to one. How's it going to be high quality when you're going to have so many students in one classroom now?
Because at the moment, the number of teachers in each smaller school, let's say 200, and then we combine in 5, so it'll become 1,000. They would have 60 teachers instead of 8. In the school. So they would have
like
full
share
fund.
resources between
Yes.
schools. We see the news time to time. There will be kids that have to walk for like 5 kilometers to get to school. How would this help that problem?
No, we would provide transportation.
So this is also in the plan.
Yes.
That is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but the whole ministry, all the top executive at the ministry have agreed in this plan, and we have gone throughout the country, 76, including Bangkok, to formalize the plan,
Right.
and then identify the school based on the community, the distance to the secondary school, distance to the vocational school, and then according to the environment of the city. So basically, if the cities are more tourist oriented, the program that will be provided in the school will be towards the tourism industry. So each city, each school would have different interests providing for the students. Obviously, the subjects, important subjects, will remain important, but there'll be additional focus on the requirement of the city.
So with the inequality gap that is going on because of COVID-19,
Yes.
apart from the education minister, who else needs to come forward and take more action in your perspective?
Well, obviously the Ministry of Interior, because they have to look after the income or poverty level in each city, and then the Health Ministry, because they look after the volunteers that support the health system, and obviously the Labor Ministry, that there are going to be some unemployment throughout, and then that's going to affect parents and eventually to the students. So it's a combined effort in order to make sure that we can lift up the country during this pandemic. And obviously the Ministry of Digital will play an important role in providing necessary tools in order to lift up the situation. It's not going to be easy, but we are working hard to make it happen.
You were talking about tailoring the curriculum for each school to what that area needs. Did you have it when you went out to survey the field trip to all 76 provinces? Did you have a chance to talk to the local?
Yes. Actually, in our master plan, we have identified a model in Phuket, and because Phuket has limited number of schools because of the size, and we have realized that this city cater to the tourism industry, but the population are not fully supported with the education in order to provide a proper services in the future. Let's say the industry come back, the tourism industry come back, we would have enough qualified people in order to help the city. So we have to make sure that whatever plan we have for education, it's catered to the needs of the market.
So you were in the news a lot last year because of the protests. I wouldn't say it's politics. Do you think it's politics? And there were a lot of demands. Is there anything? Is they still in touch with you? Is there anything the ministry able to answer to their demands, such as the hair restriction, the uniform, the curriculum, and things like that?
Yes. Mostly, it's about educational issues, which I'm very happy to tackle. Some of the issues that are still outstanding and under the pressing needs on their end, hairstyles, we have come up with the plan, and hopefully we can roll out the answer for them. Same as the uniform situation. It's not going to be happy for everybody, but at least it's a compromise between the two parties.
So do you think the protesters will be happy with their plan?
No, because we have not satisfied all of their demands, but we have gone through a committee to come up with a solution. But at the same time, we have solicit answers from the operator as teachers whether the plan can be implemented and they're comfortable with the situation, and they have replied, and so we have to adjust between the committee and the operator, which are teachers.
I think we are hopeful and we're looking forward to see all these projects the ministry is trying to roll out, especially the one that would help with the schools in the rural area. It sounds like a lot of hard work.
Well, we prepare for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.